And so you've really made the decision to start using Python. You want to learn Python and use Python for your work, for your data analysis. Now it's very easy to install Python in your own system. You can go to python.org and just install it. But that's not the way that we do it when we work with research projects or any kind of data analysis. Now Python is a language and it consists of keywords and functions, and they make the language work. But Python can't do everything. So people go and they write extra software called packages, and you can download and install those packages, and every time you use Python, you just import that package. That package is full of extra keywords and extra functions, and they extend the usability and capability of Python. Now these packages come in different versions. You know, there's always some new version, and some packages depend on other packages. And what happens after a while, you get some dependency issues. There are version clashes. And the best way to get around this is to have managing software. So instead of just installing Python once, we're going to install a package manager such as Miniconda, and that's what I'm going to show you. So with Miniconda, we can create environments. Those are just little spaces on your computer where you just do certain things, where you have certain projects and you install certain versions of Python and certain versions of different packages. And you keep them all contained, and that works much, much better in the long term. So as you can see here, I have just Googled the word Miniconda and install, and this is the page that it came to, installing Miniconda. We can see that we get a Windows graphical installer, a Mac OS graphical installer, and Linux installer. So choose your appropriate operating system. I'm going to go here for Mac graphical installer. And actually it doesn't really matter which one you click on, you're going to get to the same page. We see Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, and you've got to choose the correct version for your operating system in your computer. And you can simply just click on the appropriate file here. You can download it and double click on it to install it. Please accept all the defaults. Now that's going to be slightly different on Mac OS and Linux than it is on Windows. You know, Windows is always slightly different. But please just carry on and accept all the default settings during the installation process. Now Miniconda is a command line or terminal interface. You've actually got to type some words inside of a terminal that's on Mac OS and Linux, or inside of a command prompt in Windows. Now if you are on a Windows machine and you've installed Miniconda, you click on the start menu, you should see Anaconda command prompt. Now that's not the normal command prompt that comes with Windows. This is the Anaconda. Now remember, we installed Miniconda, so just search for Anaconda command prompt, and when you click on that, a terminal window will open. Very easy on Linux and Mac OS, just search for at least, and open a terminal window. And that's exactly what I've done here. I'm on a Mac and I've just opened a terminal window. Great, I've increased the screen size a bit so we can all see. Now what I'm going to type is Conda, that's a C-O-N-D-A space env space list. And that stands for Conda environment list. And when I hit enter or return, you see I already have a couple of these environments. Now, as I mentioned, I will have a different environment with different packages and versions of those packages for each of the things that I commonly do. So you see, there's the base installation, and I'll show you a little bit about that shortly. There's an AstroPy for a little astrophysics, data science, geospatial data science, mathematics, network analysis, research. So you name these, and you can see there single words. We don't use spaces or other illegal characters when we create these. Now, when you've installed Miniconda, you will only have base. So let's try and create a brand new environment. So these are the processes that you really have to go through. You have to install Miniconda, and now you have to start, remember on Windows, either your Anaconda command prompt, and on Linux and Mac, you can just start any terminal. So you can just search for terminal, you'll find it on your computer. So to create an environment, I'm going to type Conda create. Now note where I put the spaces, and I'm going to say minus or -n, that is shortcut for name. Now you've got to give your environment a name. So name it anything appropriate, and as I say, it's very easy. You can just keep on creating new ones, so that's not an issue. So let's just call this one demonstration, because I'm just creating a demonstration here. So that's now going to be the name of my environment. And I've got to tell it what version of Python I want. As of the recording this, I think 3.11 is the appropriate choice. So I've got conda space create space minus or -n space demonstration. That's my single word name for my environment, and then another space, and then Python equals and the version of Python that I want to install. So I'm going to hit return or enter, and you see there's a bunch of things that must be installed to create a new environment. And so right at the bottom we see proceed, yes or no. I'm just going to type Y and hit return, and there you go, it's been created. So let's do conda env list, and let's have a look. There we go. Right down there we'll see we have a brand new demonstration environment. See it right there? Now anytime I want to use that specific environment, I've got to activate it. So anytime I open a terminal window, remember that's the Anaconda command prompt on Windows, and any terminal window on Mac and Linux, I've got to activate that specific environment. See, I have so many, I really have to tell my machine which version of Python, in other words, which of these environments do I want to use right now. So I'm going to say conda activate, and let's activate demonstration. Conda activate demonstration. And look right at the bottom. It went from base, right there we see base, and now once I've activated this environment, I am inside of that environment. That is great. So what we have to do now is install some packages. As I've mentioned, we use these packages. They are full of functions, extra keywords, many more things that you can do with these packages versus just base Python. And in data science and statistics, machine learning, there's a couple of packages that we use all the time. So I really suggest that you start with these packages, but as you start using Python, you'll see there are thousands of these wonderful packages, and they just make, they give you the ability to do almost anything in Python. Now we want to install packages. Now first remember, you've got to create those environments and you've got to activate that specific environment. Now we can go ahead and we can install packages. Usually we only install a package once. Every now and again you can do an update, but usually we just install a package once and that's it. So I've cleaned my terminal. Here we go. I've activated demonstration. That is the environment that we created. And now I'm going to say conda install, and I'm just going to say -y or -y. That's the flag for yes, so that I don't manually have to type yes. And now I'm going to select a channel. A channel is where you find these packages on the internet, and the flag for that is -c or -c, and then we give the name of the channel, and that's conda -forge. There we go, conda forge. So have a look at the spaces, see where I've got my little dashes or minuses, see where I put spaces, not spaces. You have to type things exactly like this. So conda install, yes, channel is conda forge, and now we're going to list the packages that we use very often in statistics, biostatistics, data analysis, machine learning, etc. So we're going to write Jupyter, that's with a Y, Jupyter, not like the planet, but with a Y, and then space, we're just going to leave spaces between the names of these packages. Pandas, NumPy, SciPy, so that's numerical Python, scientific Python, and let's do matplotlib to create some lovely plots, and why not, let's do Seaborn, that we also commonly use in Python to create beautiful data visualization. So these are the ones that I suggest you start with. Let's hit enter or return. Now don't be alarmed when this takes a few seconds, but as you can see here, the download has started, the installation has started, and that actually goes quite quickly. Now that's all done. Now one thing I want to show you is the following: conda deactivate. So this time you don't have to put the name of the environment, you just have to say conda deactivate, and that's a good thing just to get back to your base installation. So please don't just download Python and install all the packages in your base environment. Use a manager such as Miniconda and create environments. Now you only need to create one environment. You can do all your work just with one environment. Later on you might start seeing the use of different environments. But this is the way that I want you to install and use Python on your own system.